How you doing out there? You look great. You look beautiful. My name is Kathy Glosson, and guess what? I'm running for governor. And you know, I believe that the #1 job of elected officials is to improve the standard of living for workers and their families in the state of Iowa. And it all starts by raising wages. Because, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, the only two ways that we make higher pay for workers in our state is by increasing the minimum wage and building strong unions, right? Well, let me tell you that Governor Kim Reynolds and the Republican legislature, if that was their #1 job, how do you think they're doing so far? They have failed, and they failed miserably. And that's putting us all in trouble in our state.
Unless you're Apple.
Unless you're Apple. Good point. You know, what Governor Kim Reynolds is doing just the opposite. She's making it harder for working people to get by in our state. And the reason she's done that is that how she's done it is that she's lowered wages, and she's gutted the ability for workers to join together in a union, driving down the standard of living for all of us. That's not right. And guess what? That's how they rig the economy. That's what they do. So Governor Reynolds and her corporate friends are doing great. But you know what the problem is? They understand the problem. All the money, guess where all the money's going? It's going to the rich folks instead of going to the workers, the families, and the family farmers in our state that are struggling to get by. And when 381,000 Iowa households are paid so little that they're struggling to survive, we all pay the price. And the only way, the one shot we have at rebuilding our economy in this state is to raise, who needs a mic?
You talked it right off there.
Sorry about that. I have a loud voice, and I guess the mic can't handle it. So the one shot we have at rebuilding our economy for workers in our state is to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour and let workers join unions again. That's right, Iowa needs unions. You know, in the city of Des Moines and cities across the Midwest, hospitals like this behind me are the new economy. They're the center of our economy. They're like the factories that we had in previous generations. And make no mistake, the hospital industry here in Des Moines is making some pretty big profits. Anybody want to guess how much? $236 million a year. And guess what the CEO of Mercy Healthcare Network in Iowa makes every year? $900,000 a year. And that, you know what else? 70% of hospital workers in our state make less than $15 an hour. So just think about that. CEO, $900,000, and the workers that deliver the patient care, clean the rooms, cook the food, and make these hospitals successful are making less than $15 an hour. Do you think that's right? No! Is that an economy that works for us? No! Is that a fair shot for workers? No! You know, private sector workers do some of the most difficult jobs, but some of the most important jobs in our society. And it's workers like hospital workers, healthcare workers, fast food workers, and workers in other private sector jobs. They need unions. And what I'm talking about is strong organization of workers that pool their bargaining power to make sure that everyone sees their fair share of the profits, not just those at the top. And when we have strong unions, guess what? We raise the wage floor and we boost the purchasing power of working families in our communities. That way we grow our economy, and that way we raise the standard of living for all Iowans. You know, hospital workers in New York City, Seattle, and in the state of California formed their unions. And you know what? They've won a better life, higher wages, and a better quality of life for themselves and their family. I ask you, why can't we do that in Iowa? Because I say we can, and I say it's time. What do you say? Because I will tell you, when I've traveled the state and I've been listening to Iowans, what I hear is that they're fed up. They're sick and tired of working 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. But what I also hear over and over again is they're ready to rise up. They're ready to rise up for bold progressive change in 2018. They don't want politicians giving them lip service anymore, and they sure as hell don't want a governor who takes her orders from billionaires and bosses and doesn't give a hoot about workers who haven't had a decent raise in years. They don't want half measures. They want big, new ideas to turn our state around. They're ready to rise up for $15 an hour. They're ready to rise up to be in a union. They're ready to rise up for single-payer universal health care. They're ready. They're ready to rise up to limit the growth of corporate farms. We need clean water, safe communities, and strong public education. I'm standing with the fight for 15 because a nurse, I know how to risk my job, and I did it, to organize with my fellow co-workers to form our union. And I know, brothers and sisters, firsthand, that the only way we can turn things around and create a better life is by sticking together in a union. Together, we can... I'm blowing the mic again, sorry. Together we can win in 2018. We can take back our state. If we rise up together for a bold, progressive future, that's what this Labor Day is about. That's what unions are about. I'm Kathy Glosson, and that's why I'm